The frame is painted, so it is finally time to put this truck back together. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy right now. Kind of have a cold or COVID. I don't know. Whatever it is. I'm almost done with it. Like I said, things are painted now. So that means we can start this build. Have lots of parts that have showed up. Yeah, all these truck parts. Engine parts. Engine part. Brake lines. Here we have tracking bar, bushings, fuel tank. So yeah, everything we need to start putting this truck back together. I guess I'll just, I swear that thing always starts right when you want to talk. Yeah, so anyways, start by putting the engine cradle, cross-member, subframe, whatever you want to call it, back onto the frame. All right, first piece to the puzzle is on. With this, I pretty much used all the original bolts, but I did get new nuts and washers just because we have a lot of them around. You don't necessarily have to. One thing to think about when you're doing these lower bolts here, they have the nuts welded on to the actual cross member. And before you throw it up here, make sure to run a thread chaser or a tap through there to get rid of all the paint out of the threads, or else you'll have to take it off and do it and then put it back. So don't make that same mistake I did. Now that this is on, I'm actually going to be moving to the rear end. Going to be taking the rear swing arms off of the axle, new bushings, and installing them onto the frame. And then I have new hardware and a shock relocation mounting kit I'll be throwing on, and then we can bolt the axle on. Well guys, tonight kind of turned into a bust. So I was gonna get the rear axle pretty much mounted, have the spring, have the new lowering springs, shock mount relocation kits, drag link, swing arms. But after I pulled these off, they were a little more rusted than I thought they would. So I'm gonna strip them down real fast and do a quick paint job. Nothing like what I did to the frame, just probably find just some good rattle can, because the suspension stuff, I'm not really worried about longevity, because who knows, down the road, maybe I'll do a 4-link, maybe I'll do bags. I don't know. As of now, I'm just trying to get this thing running. So instead, I just kind of spent the night pulling off bushings, ball joints, because I'm gonna strip these down and do the same thing with paint. Same thing. Who knows, maybe I'll do a coilover system someday, and who knows how long I'll need those. Yeah, I kind of hit myself with a hammer a couple times. It's better to hit the object than your hand, just so you know. But yeah, all right. So yeah, need to get ball joints, bushings pulled out of the lower control arms. Those are the uppers. Strip those down, get some paint. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get some paint before I can really move forward. So yeah, tonight really all I got done was installing the upper mounts for the shock relocation. Pretty exciting, I know. So I guess I'll be stripping down some more stuff, getting some paint, and doing that before I can really make any progress. Well guys, I think I can actually get some things done on the truck tonight. Also had some more parts come in. Have my motor mounts come in, so when the time comes we can throw that bad boy on there. But we're actually going to be working on the rear end tonight. Got these all painted. I thought they came painted, but they didn't, and that's why I didn't want to throw the springs on yet, so I just threw a quick coat of paint on them so I can throw those on, and then we can do the rear swing arm control. So I've been sitting here for like 5 minutes trying to figure out how this axle goes on, because I'm like, it doesn't make sense, because the U-bolt you can see goes there, and then it hit me. I was like, oh, the axle goes on top of the swing arm. Duh, I'm an idiot. Anyways, everything went together really good. Have new polyurethane bushings for the swing arms, have them all installed, have the lowering springs installed. And then everything's not fully tight. That way I can move it a little bit. That way when I do put the axle on, I'm not fighting it. I can adjust it to where it needs to go. And then I'll go through and tighten up everything when I'm done. Things to think about if you're doing it. Just remember these little D mounts or whatever you call them, spring mounts. They do have a fit in the spring. So just kind of twist it in there until you feel it really lock into place. And then when you are tightening these springs, do tighten one a little bit and then do the other, or else they will kind of move on you, and then you'll have to loosen it. So just tighten one, tighten the other until they have enough friction, until they're tight enough, then you can start cranking on them. But no, everything went good. So the rear end's close to being done. I'll probably start working on the front end. So tomorrow night I will probably start tearing into the front end. I need to get the control arms painted. I have them stripped down here, you can see, and then I still need to do the lowers. And I have all new bushings and everything for the front end that I'll be throwing on as I go through. And then, like I said earlier, I do have these engine mounts now that can get bolted on. So I think I have all the parts to start making good progress. Just need to start slowly chipping away at it. we have the front suspension back on the truck. Everything went good. Yeah, these are the drop spindles, and so what it does is on the normal spindles, it'll be the hub coming out, or the spindle coming out of the hub will be right around down here, and so this moves it up, which in turn lowers the truck. So everything went on pretty good. These control arm bushings and stuff, they can be kind of a pain to do, the lower and upper. And then the ball joints were kind of a pain to press in. And these ones are really nice because they bolt in, and then when they go bad, you can just unbolt them and put in new ones. So I did want to get to the point to where I could put the wheels back on and get it on the ground, but I need to go and get all of my, I'm just going to get all new brakes and everything, which the rotor goes onto your spindle, kind of like a trailer bearings and everything. So I'm going to get new bearings, new rotors, and then already have the hub. I'll probably get new dust shield just because I'd rather just spend a few dollars on those than sanding those down and painting them. So yeah, I need to go to the parts store, get all that. So I probably won't get the front end on the ground today, but I would like to get the rear end bolted up. Really all I need to do is put it on. I got my shims for the degree. Typically when you lower things, your pinion angle is going to change, and so you usually need some type of shim to bring that angle back into sequence with the transmission for the 6-speed over there. I'm actually going to be building the transmission mount, and so I can build that wherever this is. So it's not, so I could have got away. So I probably could have got away with not installing those, but I figured might as well. Then I can always take them out if I don't like where the angle is. And yeah, like I said, I'll be building the transmission so I can set that angle wherever I want it. So yeah, let's pull this axle back, lower it, and then bring it back up, and then we can bolt this rear axle on. All right, the axle is bolted back on, and I don't really remember exactly, but I think it's already sitting lower than it was before. It should with these springs. They were a little shorter than those ones, but as you can see with how many coils that spring has compared to that spring, once we get weight on it, it's gonna drop it down quite a bit more. So it's hard to judge how low it's gonna sit until we actually have the bed and everything back on, because that is gonna drop it quite a bit. So I'm happy about that. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure that frame's sitting lower than it was to begin with. Obviously the front here is a little lower than it probably will be with the wheels and tires on, but yeah, starting to look like a chassis again instead of just a frame. Yeah, unfortunately I need to get some more stuff for the front end before I can throw the wheels and tires on. A few more steering components and things like that. I was hoping to get those thrown on, but I didn't realize how many parts I was still missing, so I guess that will just have to wait. Well guys, I think this is where I'm going to end this one. We made quite a bit of progress putting the frame and chassis back together, have all the suspension back on. Just needed, like I said, get the But like I said, I need to get some brake components and things like that before we can put the front end. I really want to get this done because then we can throw that onto it, and then we can start working on the bodywork of the cab. So just want to keep moving fast and furious with this build because I want to drive this truck. I've waited a long time for a C10, and I want to get this going as soon as I can. I don't want it to turn into a super long-term project. It's still going to take a while just because there is a lot to do when you bring something completely down to frame and then build it back up. Bodywork's probably going to take a long time, but luckily money-wise, I don't think bodywork will be that much. Of course, I'll have to buy some replacement panels, but other than that, it's just going to be time-consuming. So I'm not too worried about bodywork. I pretty much have all the major components that I need to get this truck going, so it's just a matter of the time it takes to do everything. So you guys better stay tuned and subscribe so you can keep up with this build, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.